Hey guys, it's me, Stock Picks by Tim, and in this video I'm going to look at the overall market. We actually are looking at a green day, and it's Friday. Now who knows if we'll be here by the time we close, but it is nice to see a little bit of green, and we have had a pretty good week. Small caps have been rising nicely, large caps have been looking good lately. Now let's look over a couple of things real quick, and I'm also going to look over crypto. Now let's go over to TradingView's heat map and see what's going on. And I'll leave you guys a link below if you want to be able to access this as well, but looking across the board, we are generally green. So it's very encouraging coming into the weekend and seeing green, not seeing a sell-off because people don't want to hold throughout the weekend. We are seeing the opposite. Now, most of the small caps I talk about here today are actually up, but we do have ChargePoint down today after having a nice rally over the last couple of days. I'm going to look at ChargePoint here in a second. But first off, let's see Bitcoin on the chart and see what's been going on in crypto. Now, looking at Bitcoin on the chart here, you'll see that we've got an inverse head and shoulders. Here's the head, shoulder, shoulder, and we have been coming up a little bit lately. We got really close to 21.5 before coming back a little bit. Now we're sitting right at about 20,800. So Bitcoin's gonna have to break about 21,600 for us to move further. That does look like a previous resistance point, but it is nice to see Bitcoin slowly but surely rising ever since about the 18th of June. And I think despite Bitcoin rising a little bit, it is still a great time to add to. And I'm taking now and the next 3 months, even 6 months, maybe even longer, to continue to buy. I do think we'll have some time before the next halving. Looking at past halvings and seeing where we're at in the timeline, we've got roughly around another year, potentially, of some downturn, of some stagnation, and I will be taking advantage of buying. Now, one thing that I have not yet bought, I've been keeping an eye on lately, is VGX. Once we broke 45 cents here, it kind of became our resistance. We bounced off of 40 cents. That 45 cent became our resistance. And now we're sitting at 40 cents. We've bounced off it for a third time now, or we're currently bouncing off of it, it looks like. But keep an eye on it. Make sure it doesn't break 40 cents. I think for me, now is a great time to add to some VGX. Just be aware that if this level does not hold, very likely we come down to 35.30. And one negative to think about is because they limited transactions, there might be a line of people still continuing to sell. So the selling might continue for a little bit longer, but Voyager is taking the steps they need to take to survive. And I understand those of you that don't even want to touch this or just, running for the hills, selling out and giving up on this one. If you don't have the risk appetite for it, then you got to do what's best for you. That being said, I will continue to hold and I will be nibbling at VGX. I am not rushing, I'm taking my time, and I think that's the best way to treat this one. Next up, looking at CleanSpark here, you'll see that we did break our 11th May, that max capitulation day. We did actually create a newer low right around the 16th of June. At about $4. It has bounced off since then. It did come up, test $5, and you'll see that it's been on a bit of an uptrend. I personally think with Bitcoin at its price, and if Bitcoin continues at its price, which is what I expect over the next 3-6 months, like I said, even a year, CleanSpark is definitely going to see some lackluster earnings. However, I am confident that they will make it through, but that's definitely one thing to keep in mind when you're buying CleanSpark is that, our next earnings is going to come out. It's very likely we'll see revenue that's under what we saw this last earnings and even the one previously. But I will be taking the next earnings and upcoming months as a continued time to be able to buy CleanSpark, maybe even get it at a lower price. In the next bull run, I expect CleanSpark to outperform Bitcoin in terms of returns massively. And in a way, this is almost like playing a call option on Bitcoin. When Bitcoin's very bullish, CleanSpark is going to absolutely run. And when Bitcoin is bearish, CleanSpark, all that money is going to exit from it. And people are going to drop it like a bad habit. And that's what we've been seeing. Now we're at this extremely low level, and I will be continuing to buy CleanSpark. I am a bit overextended, so I am really taking my time on this one. Definitely focusing on other stocks, other cryptos first. But as I build up my portfolio in other positions, I will add to my weighting in CleanSpark. I definitely want to be careful and try not to overextend myself. So next up, I want to talk about two stocks that actually did hit that max capitulation May 12th day, and they haven't seen that level since. First off is ChargePoint, and this one was in the 8s. Now it's up all the way to $15. I'm not selling this one yet. We are still in an uptrend. We did find resistance here at about 16. I think we're going to retest it. I do. And while stocks have been kind of flat, stagnating, ChargePoint has been in the background just running. Now my plan for this one is I am not even looking at taking profits until we at least come up over $20, and then I will likely be skimming some off the top, not selling out completely, because I do believe in the long term of ChargePoint. If you guys are familiar with this channel, I love this stock. That revenue has been continuing to increase. Of course, their expansion into Europe, the recent acquisitions of Veracity and Has to Be. I mean, this company is looking great, and even at this price, I think it is still worth adding to, But just know that we have ran up from about $8, so of course there's this possibility that we come back down, even test this trend line, possibly test roughly $14. I think if it does come down, 14 would be a great point to add to it. And yeah, definitely love charge point where it's at still, and I'm not a seller yet. Now another one I highly recommend you guys look into if you haven't yet is Indi, I-N-D-I. This is Indi Semiconductor. And this one's the same story. We hit that May 12th max capitulation right at about 488. We have ran since then. We actually gapped up. They had a good earnings and they actually gave good guidance. And we heard this news before, so we already came into this expecting pretty good earnings. Sure enough, it came out great. And this has been running a little bit lately. And we're now sitting at about 650. And I still think Indi is still a great time to add to. If you're familiar with me, you know that I'm very bullish on semiconductors in general, and Indi has a fantastic executive team, with most of the execs actually having more than 20 years of experience working together. I think that's a huge thing to be aware of. You know, we're not dealing with a new team coming into this blind. They have been here before. They have dealt with this before. I definitely love the executive team on Indi, and honestly, I don't think there's anyone out there that can beat them. Definitely love Indi at this price. Highly recommend you look into them. No, they're not profitable yet, but their revenue has been steadily increasing, and they have plenty of cash on their balance sheet to weather the recession, or potential recession. But let me know down below, guys, what you've been doing lately. Have you been buying with confidence? Are you unsure in this current market, or do you think we're going to come down even more? Thanks so much for watching, guys. Take it easy.